Beyond the performative headlines of international summits and the inherent fallibility of traditional statecraft, an invisible engine of stability is redrawing the map of global hierarchy. We are peeling back the layers of computational governance to reveal how 2026 has become the year that objective data replaces the subjective volatility of the smoke-filled room. At World Perspective, we believe that the transition from human-led negotiations to algorithmic clarity is not a loss of national agency, but a massive upgrade in our collective ability to prevent conflict and distribute prosperity with total fairness. Discover how the world's most innovative nations are moving beyond the era of geopolitical dominance and into a new era of radical, transparent collaboration. 1. High-frequency diplomacy and the death of latency. The decline of traditional embassy-led negotiations marks the end of an era defined by human fatigue and cultural misunderstanding. In 2026, the reality of real-time algorithmic trade adjustments allows for a level of precision that was previously unthinkable. We are witnessing the rise of high-frequency diplomacy, where predictive modelling is utilised to settle complex territorial and economic disputes before they can escalate into physical friction. Statistical data from the first quarter of 2026 indicates that the time required to settle international maritime trade disputes has plummeted by a staggering 84%. This shift ensures that decisions are based on the objective, quantified needs of populations rather than the political egos of negotiators. 2. The sovereign API as the new gatekeeper of legitimacy. International standing is no longer determined solely by a nation's military hardware, but by the transparency and reliability of its sovereign API. This digital gateway allows middle power nations to plug directly into global trade flows and financial systems without the need for high-cost, legacy diplomatic infrastructure. In 2026, 70% of emerging economies have utilised these APIs to bypass historical trade barriers, allowing for instantaneous customs clearance and seamless financial integration. This levels the playing field, ensuring that national legitimacy is earned through data-driven reliability, allowing even the smallest states to access global markets with the same speed as established superpowers. 3. The eradication of administrative leakage in global aid. One of the most profound benefits for the masses is the automation of development aid and climate financing through black box algorithms. By using machine learning models that prioritize objective sentiment analysis of civilian needs over political favoritism, we have seen a 30% increase in funds reaching the ground level in disaster zones. These models effectively bypass corrupt intermediaries and bureaucratic bottlenecks, ensuring that resources are distributed to those in genuine need. This technical precision mirrors the planning renaissance we interrogated in the Emerald Blueprint, Ireland's 2026 strategy to solve the housing crisis, where we demonstrated how technical agility solved the Irish housing crisis. 4. Correcting algorithmic bias through the universal training mandate. While early critics feared that machine learning would bake cultural biases into the global order, the 2026 Universal Training Mandate has provided a structural solution. This mandate ensures that the models governing international relations are trained on diverse global datasets that represent the entire human population, rather than a few tech superpowers. By intentionally engineering cultural and economic diversity into the foundational code, we are ensuring that the global order remains multipolar and inclusive. This ensures that the code of geopolitics reflects the values of the many, preventing the formation of a digital caste system. 5. Digital non-alignment and open source sovereignty. As a Western silicon bloc and an Eastern decentralized ledger system emerge, a third way is being forged through the principle of open source sovereignty. Nations are increasingly developing localized AI models to shield their domestic interests from external data influence, with a 150% increase in the adoption of open-source diplomatic protocols in 2026. This is a critical evolution beyond the algorithmic protectionism of the past, providing a blueprint for how a nation can be technologically advanced while remaining ideologically independent. This strategy of diversification echoes the themes in The Cultural Archipelago: Why Britain is Diverging from Europe's Strategic Autonomy, where we explored the necessity of trade autonomy in a fragmented world. 6. The Invisible Peace Dividend: Automated Crisis Mitigation. In 2026, automated credit and risk assessment models act as decentralized stabilizers for the global economy. When a regional economic shock is detected by the grid, these models trigger automated escalations of financial support and liquidity, rather than the punitive, broad-brush sanctions of the past. This invisible peace dividend prevents the spiral of poverty that traditionally follows a local crisis, with data showing that countries utilizing these algorithmic support systems have a 40% higher rate of recovery following environmental or economic shocks. 7. Sentiment analysis as a tool for proactive governance. Rather than a tool for surveillance, sentiment analysis has been re-engineered as a tool for data-driven empathy. By 2026, this technology allows governments to maintain a real-time understanding of public needs, facilitating proactive governance. Resources such as medicine, food, and energy are now redirected to specific communities before a shortage is even registered by the inhabitants. This ensures that the social contract is maintained through tangible performance, mirroring the radical trust model we investigated in how Norway's 2026 transparency mandates are re-engineering the social contract, where a simplified relationship between the state and the people fosters deep national resilience. 8. Algorithmic accountability in climate diplomacy. The struggle for climate justice has been historically hampered by a lack of verifiable and transparent data. In 2026, algorithmic governance provides the solution, through automated real-time carbon accounting that is auditable by the entire global community. By removing the ability for nations to greenwash their industrial data, computational diplomacy ensures that climate financing is directed only to the most effective and verifiable projects. This radical transparency is essential for building a sustainable future, ensuring that the burden of the green transition is shared with absolute equity. 9. Surgical precision: the evolution of the decentralized sanction. In the old world, sanctions often devastated civilian populations while failing to influence leaders. In 2026, decentralized sanctions target only the specific algorithms and financial nodes responsible for non-compliance with international law. This surgical precision protects the masses from collateral economic damage while maintaining a high level of accountability for national actors. This transition from blunt economic force to digital precision represents a major evolution in human rights, ensuring that justice is served without compromising the survival of a population. 10. The 2026 Global Treaty on Ethical Machine Learning. The final pillar of this new order is the ratification of the Global Treaty on Ethical Machine Learning. This treaty mandates total algorithmic transparency for any software used in the mediation of international relations. By ensuring that no nation can hide its diplomatic priorities behind a hidden script, we are creating a world where persuasive rhetoric is replaced by provable, code-based intent. This treaty prevents the concentration of power in the hands of a few compute-rich nations, ensuring that the benefits of the algorithmic revolution are shared by the entire global population. Conclusion: the architecture of an optimistic future. The transition toward a world governed by computational diplomacy is not a surrender of our humanity, but an embrace of our collective intelligence. By utilizing the precision of machine learning to solve the ancient problems of bias, corruption, and conflict, we are building a global order that is fundamentally more stable and equitable than any that preceded it. This is a future where a nation's standing is determined by its contribution to the global code of peace, and where the individual is protected by a transparent, data-driven social contract. At World Perspective, we believe that the invisible hand of 2026 is one that builds, connects, and heals. If the stability of our global civilization now depends on the transparency of the code we write, are we prepared to trade the unpredictable ego of the human diplomat for the objective equity of the algorithm?